كنت ميتا في بحور الغي والإثم غريقا، كنت عابدا في قيود الذنب مملوكا رقيقا، مدني الشيطان من أسبابه حبلا وثيقا، منكرات كنت آتيها غروبا وشروقا، كنت ميتا في بحور الغي والإثم غريقا، كنت عابدا في قيود الذنب مملوكا رقيقا، مدني الشيطان من أسبابه حبلا وثيقا، منكرات كنت آتيها غروبا وشروقا، كنت ميتا في بحور الغي والإثم غريقا، كنت عابدا في قيود الذنب مملوكا رقيقا، مدني الشيطان من أسبابه حبلا وثيقا، منكرات كنت آتيها غروبا وشروقا، غازت الآثام لحمي ثم عظمي.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا، من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. أما بعد، أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. My intention for this talk, for this title, and I suppose for every speech or any lecture that you attend, for everyone, is basically to take heed and try and reflect upon it in your life. But in particular, this talk, my intention is to try and make myself first and for everybody else realize and reflect their relationship with Allah and obviously the waswasa and the temptations of Shaytan. Hence the title is Shaytan, your open enemy or your secret friend. So as a reflection, I'm speaking from the heart to your heart. So it's quite personal. When you're talking about Shaytan, it's very personal. It's not, you can talk with Quranic ayats and hadith and you can listen to it and have a nice day and go home. But if you're reflecting upon it with your heart, it's a very personal thing. So I'm just trying to shed light with your relationship with Allah and obviously your relationship with Shaytan, because he's with you all the time. So just bear this question in mind, inshallah. The question throughout the whole topic, I would like you to just maybe now and again just insert it in your mind. How does what he's saying relate to my life? Brother Khalil, how does what Brother Khalil, what he's saying, how does it relate to my life? Obviously, we seek the pleasure of Allah in this gathering. We acknowledge that we acknowledge the hadith of Prophet ﷺ that seeking knowledge is an obligation upon every Muslim. So obviously we're here to seek the knowledge, and we ask Allah to give us the tawfiq, the ability to bring us the ability to gain His reward and His pleasure by being here today. I'm sure you've heard many people saying that they wanted to come to the talk, or you've probably heard many people saying, I was going to come, and I've heard many excuses. And this isn't a case of just in this majlis. I'm sure in many majlis, many gatherings, you'll hear people, I was going to come to the talk, but I was going to come, but. I've heard this many times, and you've probably heard it yourself. You might have been that person. Now there's no problem if you've not come to a talk or a gathering in the remembrance of Allah, if there's a genuine excuse, or if you're doing something which is better reward. But normally, it's not the case. And there's many examples I've heard. I mean, I've just got a few of a list here. Well, one of them said, for example, I've wanted to come every week for 2 years, but I just haven't had just things keep coming up. So there's that. I was going to come but I was busy. Or I want to come but make dua for me. How much have you heard that one? Make dua for me. I want to come every week. Subhanallah. The point is, it's not, as I said, it's not just a talk. It's whenever you want to do a good deed, there's always a distraction, even minute. Even today, washing the dishes, for example, you think, subhanAllah, I haven't finished reading that part of the Quran I was going to do. And you think, well, I could do this, I can do that. And even with your salah, for example, you prayed the fard and something comes in between, the sunnah, I'll pray after. I've got to just do this and I've just got to do that. And then by the time, Shaytan makes you forget it. Just bear that in mind. When you want to do a good deed, obviously it's better to be hasty in your good deeds. You've got the niyyah to do a good deed, just do it straight away. So obviously, we've heard there's many excuses for not doing these good deeds, and it's obviously the waswasa of Shaytan. So the point of the talk today, as I said, is a recognition of the issue of the enemy. Yeah, and that's the focal point of the lecture. So recognize your enemy. I'm not going to ask everyone, oh, who's your enemy? Is he your open friend or is he your enemy? Everyone's going to say Shaytan's my enemy. So just bear that in mind. You have to recognize that he's your enemy on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. So the fact of the matter is, if he's not your open enemy, if you don't recognize Shaytan as your open enemy, then by default, he's your friend. It is by default. Seriously, if you don't recognize that Shaytan is your enemy, by default he will be your friend. So let's not fool ourselves, and better still, don't let Shaytan fool you. If he isn't your enemy, he's your friend. So who isn't your enemy? Your mum, your dad. You've got certain people you might have issues with, and you think, oh, they really hate me, they get on my nerves. They're not your enemy. It's Shaytan that's your enemy. Coming into the deen, you might get friction with your parents, you might get friction from your friends. Really and truly, they're not the enemy. It's Shaytan. He's trying to push you away from doing, obviously, the right thing, and so on. So Shaytan is making you believe that everyone else is the enemy but himself. I think one of the brothers said in the talk not too long ago, he said the biggest trick Shaytan did was to make mankind think that he doesn't exist. Subhanallah. Just reflect on that. I know this isn't a part of the topic, but well, it is slightly. If Qur'an's being recited, can you play a flute in the background? Anyone? No. It's not. It's haram, isn't it? How can you play the flute with the Qur'an? You can't. It's obviously something that Shaytan got his way with, yeah? You don't think it can ever happen. You probably never heard it in your life. Qur'an with a flute in the background. It can easily happen. It happened to me just today in Salah. Praying Salah, Qur'an, and someone's phone rings and it's the flute. Flute and Qur'an, subhanallah. Just shows that Shaytan, even with your ringtone, which it shouldn't be a music or flute anyway, if you keep it as a flute, he'll make it ring during Salah. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Look at that. If that isn't a sign that you shouldn't have a musical ringtone, I don't know what is. Anyway, from my investigation, I found that there's 4 main stages between yourself and Shaytan. 4, yeah? Number 1, this is a personal thing once again. I'm not at that stage yet, as in Shaytan is beating me. Yeah, what do I mean by that? I'll explain. Not at that stage yet. This is the most dangerous one. Shaytan is beating me. Number 2, I'm not at that stage yet, but I'm trying. You're getting there, yeah? Number 3, I'm at that stage, but I'm battling. Yeah? And number 4, I've passed that stage and I'm on to the next. I'm just going to give you an example of that. Number 1, I'm not at that stage yet and I don't have the intention. For example, the Salah. Every Muslim needs to pray 5 times a day, yeah? Most people haven't got the intention to pray. Most people. Brother, do you pray? No. You got the intention? Make dua again and then come back to that one. If you've got the intention, at least you've got the ball rolling within your mind and your heart. Number 2, you need to pray, but you pray here and there. So you need to pray, but you're praying here and there. So you're not doing anything. You've started the ball rolling, but you're still being beaten by Shaytan because you're not praying the 5 prayers, yeah, that you're supposed to. Number 3, You're praying all five, which is not, I'm at that stage but I'm battling. You're praying all five, but you're not praying them on time. But you're praying all five, alhamdulillah. Number 5, alhamdulillah, I'm praying all 5 prayers. The next stage I'm gone to, which is get the khushu' in your salah. You're trying to get the tranquility in your salah. So, to be slightly different, I'll ask for the sisters to have a bit of piece of paper. I want you to write down stages 1 and 2, really, because this is a very general topic. I can go on about salah all day long, and everyone prays 5 times a day. There's no point going on about it. So if the sisters can write down, and the brothers, maybe jot it down on your phones or whatever, I'll ask you to raise your hands towards the end. Write down your stage 1 and 2. I'll remind you again. Stage 1 is I'm not at that stage yet, but I'm trying to be. Because you should have the intention anyway. So I'm not at that stage yet. For example, salah. I'm not at that stage yet. The hijab. I'm not at that stage yet. The beard. But I'm trying to be. Or, I'm doing it, I'm at the stage, but I'm struggling. So if you write that down, I'm at the stage, but I'm struggling. Because I want to hit on those bits at the end. Because this all comes back down to Shaytan being your enemy or your friend. And now, by the way, Shaytan's going to make you forget everything. Seriously, subhanallah. You go blank. The whole talk, I've had it before, you come to many talks, Q&As, everyone's quiet. Throughout the whole talk, you've got all these questions. At the Q&As, everyone goes blank. Shaytan doesn't want you to learn anything. It reminds me of a story actually of Abu Hanifa, yeah? If I'm not mistaken. A man went to Abu Hanifa, he had a treasure. And he lost it. He hid it somewhere and he couldn't find it. He goes to Abu Hanifa, this is the problem. Abu Hanifa says, no problem. Easy solution. Just pray all night. I'm sure some people have heard this before. Pray all night. And the guy's thinking, how am I going to find the treasure if I pray all night? So he's like, okay, fine. He goes home, prays, just begins to pray, and he remembers where it is. Alhamdulillah. Very happy. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Finished. Alhamdulillah. Very happy. So he goes to Abu Hanifa. How did you know? How did you know? He said, Shaytan would never let you pray all night. He would never let you do it. He knows where these things are anyway, but he knows he would never let you pray all night. Ajib. So write down these things and we'll pass it on towards the end and I'll try to run through them. Just a few examples. I'm going to go into the character of Shaytan in brief, because I said the topic's very huge. Seriously, the Quran's got many ayat. I'm not qualified really to go through all that, but I'm trying to do it on a personal level. Just some examples of waswasa, yeah? What's waswasa? Whispers, yeah? From who? Can you hear it? That's the question, yeah. When people say waswasa, normally you think you're going to hear a really scary voice. Kill this person or something, just really, really bad voice. But you never hear that. You don't. You hear your thoughts, and you can't hear your thoughts. It's actually just ideas and thoughts. It's in your mind. And Shaytan does the same thing. He gives you these bad thoughts. So just some examples of, I suppose, belief waswasa. This to make people think a little bit. For example, and I've heard this and I'm sure you have too. Can Allah create a rock that's so heavy that He can't lift it? Who's heard that before? One. Can Allah create a rock that's so heavy that He can't lift it? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with the question? Trick question? I'll come to the answer after, because there's 3 of them. Actually, I'll answer it because the other one's just completely different. First of all, the question's not befitting. It's actually not befitting of Allah's majesty. Allah's majestic. It's not befitting His majesty, but I'll go into detail after. It's a nonsensical question, like one brother says. Nonsensical, doesn't make sense. Allah can create the rock and He can lift it. Yeah? But I'll go into the detail after. Another person said to me, Shaytan, again, this is from human beings, but Shaytan's giving the waswasa in the heart or the mind. If Allah asked you, would you kill your mum? Would you? If Allah asked you, not me. So look at Shaytan's question. Tricky question. If you say yes, I would. Well, you're going to kill your mum. You? If you say no, I wouldn't kill my mum, but you're going to disobey Allah. Trick question, isn't it? The answers to that, again, I had this personally actually. What was the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam? Ibrahim alayhi salam, Allah didn't say it to him, but he had it in a dream. I think 3 nights in a row, if I'm not mistaken, to kill his son. But it was just a test. And you say it to the person, it's just a test. Allah might say that to you, He might send it to you in a way, but it's just a test. He wouldn't make you kill your mum. Why? Because Allah is glorious and majestic. He's high above all that. That's why He says Subhanallah. He is free from all defects and any badness at all. And there's a hadith actually that Shaytan will make you go into these sort of questions. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, Satan comes to every one of you and says, who created this? Who created that? And you'll say, well, Allah created this. Allah created that. You can even tell your children, who created that? Allah. Who created the sun? Allah. Who created the trees? Allah. And then he says, who created Allah? Never thought about that one. Prophet ﷺ said, when he comes to that, one should seek refuge with Allah and keep away from these thoughts. So when that thought comes to you, or these nonsensical thoughts, say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, and just turn away from it. The example of Umar bin Khattab is a beautiful example. May Allah have mercy on him. There was a man that asked these nonsensical questions about the Quran. There were some verses of the Quran, and he would say, what does this verse mean? What does this verse mean? It was these mutashabihat, the questions that there was some ayat in the Quran that's not so clear. The ulama know it, but it's not so clear. And if you keep questioning, you can try and lead others astray. You can do. This man was asking these questions. So Umar bin Khattab, he heard about this from the man. He said, ask me your questions. He asked him the questions, and he gave him a good hiding. He said, did you get your answer? You got it? I got it. Yes, sir. Didn't ask them again. Even when it was the time of the fitna, which was, I think, many years later, people was asking these same questions. And he said, oh, you're the person that used to ask this question. Why don't you join us? He said, no, you see this? I learnt my lesson. Thank you very much. Anyway, the main topic today, obviously, or the title of the topic is Shaytan, your open enemy or secret friend. So what does Shaytan mean? Anyone? Come on, brothers. I'm sure the sisters know. Go on. What does it mean?
The accursed devil.
What is devil? The devil, Shaytan literally is the devil, isn't it? But cursed. No, that's rajim.
Is it jinn, bro?
It is a jinn. The Shaytan actually means rebellious. Yeah, disobedient, rebellious. That's what it means. So it's basically in description. It says anyone who seeks to divert anyone from the obedience of Allah. So anyone, human being as well, that wants to divert you from the obedience of Allah. It's in Tafsir Ibn Kathir as well, as Qatada mentioned in Allah's statement, shayateen among mankind and jinn. Yeah, they are shayateen, plural, among jinn, and shayateen among mankind who inspire each other. Inspire each other to do good? No. To do, obviously, the evil. Obviously, coming back to the beginning of this topic, when I was mentioning, obviously, the Quran in Surah Nas, when Allah says, Min sharril waswasil khannas. Min sharril waswasil khannas. From the evil, you're seeking refuge from Allah, from the evil of every whisperer that retracts. Min sharril waswasil khannas. So you're seeking refuge with Allah from the whisperer who retracts the evil. So what does that mean? He whispers to you, and then when you remember Allah, he retracts. Whispers, you remember Allah, he does a runner. And the other ayah, من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. Yeah. And he whispers into the hearts of mankind. Okay, so who's Shaytan and what's his problem with me? I didn't do nothing to him. Did you do anything to Shaytan? He's actually got a problem with your dad. Your father. He's got a problem with Adam alayhi salam, your father. He had a problem at the beginning. He's got a problem with Adam alayhi salam. When Adam alayhi salam was created, he had a problem with him. He was amongst the angels. Do you know anyone? I forgot, to be honest, what his name was before. Obviously his name is Iblis, yeah? Shaytan. When we refer to Shaytan, we actually mean Iblis, the main Shaytan, the first one. Obviously he's from the jinn. He was obviously created as a jinn, but he was the best amongst the jinn. And there's one narration, if I'm not mistaken, he worshipped everywhere in the world. Everywhere in this world, he worshipped Allah, to the state where he was in the ranks of the angels. And he was actually called Azazil. That was his name. Yeah. His name was Azazil. He was in the company of the angels, and he tried to imitate the angels. He tried to imitate them. But when Allah said, bow down to Adam out of honor of his creation, he refused. And I will mention the part in Surah, the portion of when Allah said that in Surah Araf verse 12. Allah said, who prevented you that you did not prostrate when I commanded you? And Iblis said, sorry, not what prevented you? What prevented you, O Iblis, that you did not prostrate when I commanded you? And Iblis said, I am better than him. You created me from fire and you created him from clay. So Iblis refused to prostrate before Adam. That's the first, that's the main disobedience. Ibn Kathir states that the statement, I am better than him, is worse than the crime itself. The fact that he didn't obey Allah is a crime. And to justify it by saying, I am better than him, is a worse crime. Isn't it? You're justifying the disobedience to Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you to your face, bow down. And you didn't do that. And the fact that you said, I am better than him as your response is worse of a crime, according to Ibn Kathir. Basically he meant, how can you order me to prostrate to something which is lower than me? And he thought in his statement that fire is better than clay or mud. When you look at the face of it, you might think, yeah, maybe he's got a point. Well, actually he hasn't. On the contrary, according to Ibn Kathir, mud has qualities of wisdom, bearance, patience, assurance. Mud grows plants. It flourishes, it increases, and it provides good. This is from the earth. It's got all these good qualities. And fire, if you look at it, it's got burning qualities, recklessness and hastiness. If we've got a fire in the house, may Allah save us from having any fires in our house. But it blazes quickly and it spreads very fast. It causes destruction. That's fire. So Allah says, O Iblis, get down from this paradise. It is not for you to be arrogant here. Get out, for you are humiliated and disgraced. The next statement's even worse. Subhanallah, from Shaytan. He said, then allow me respite till the day they are raised up. And Allah said, you are those who are respited. And then Shaytan says, where is it? As you have led me astray, I will lead them astray. That's the translation. As you have led me astray, to Allah, I will lead them astray. But the verse goes on. I'm not going to go into too much detail regarding the Quran. There's too much detail, and you need a proper scholar to go through it and explain it to you. But my point today again is your relationship with Allah. And have you got a friendship with Shaytan, or do you recognize him as your open enemy? So going back to the whole gist of the matter with Shaytan, what comes to mind if I said us Turks, that includes me, are better than everyone else? What comes to mind? Us Turks are better than everyone else. And I'm a Turk, by the way, just to let you know. What comes to mind? Arrogance. And what am I doing to you? What am I doing to you lot that are not Turks? Belittling, yeah? That's spot on what arrogance is. Kibr is, according to the Hadith Prophet ﷺ in Sahih Muslim, Kibr is dissatisfaction with the truth and belittling the people. Yeah? You're belittling the people. And it's arrogance. Kibr is arrogance. It's even in the Turkish language. Kibr. Have you got some arrogance in you? Most people say, no, not me. I ain't got arrogance. To be honest with you, the only way you're going to know you've got arrogance is either you reflect really deeply upon yourself when you do become arrogant, or someone tells you, you know what, you've done such and such. And that's hard to take, it's hard to swallow, really. Because then going back to what the brother says, that's the ego. You're stepping on my ego, that's hard. Yeah? But that's something we need to work on, because that's arrogance. It's very dangerous. There's a hadith Prophet ﷺ by Ibn Masud. He said, no one has an atom's weight of pride in his heart will enter paradise. So no one who has an atom's weight of pride in his heart will enter paradise. And a man said, and if a man likes his clothes to be good and his sandals to be good, was that pride? Prophet ﷺ said, Allah is beautiful and He loves beauty. Pride means to renounce the truth and abase the people. Renounce the truth and abase the people. So someone tells you, or in a nice way, obviously if someone shouts to you, you're not going to like it. Just say, brother, you know, you done this wrong. Sister, you done this wrong. No, I didn't. What are you talking about? It's true. We've got camera evidence. We saw you do it. No? I was busy. I forgot. We can make mistakes, but when the truth is presented to you, you should accept it. Because if you don't, you're denying the truth, which means you're arrogant. And that's pride. And the Prophet ﷺ said, you won't enter Jannah. You won't enter Jannah with it. So let's get rid of it, inshallah, by recognizing it. The Messenger of Allah ﷺ said, indeed Allah revealed to me, humble yourselves until none is proud over another and none is oppressed over another. If someone says to you, humble yourself, you think, what? You're talking to me? You're belittling me by saying humble yourself. I've heard a brother say that to me and I think, it hits you, man. You think, I'm humble. But I don't like the fact that you're telling me that. You're trying to be humble, but you're not really. If someone's telling you humble yourself, that means you're not humble. You're not being humble. That's the reason why they're telling you to be humble. If he was humble, they wouldn't tell you. Prophet ﷺ said, when you read a verse of prostration, then prostrate. Shaytan departs crying and says, woe be to him. He was ordered to prostrate and he prostrated. So for him, paradise. And I was ordered to prostrate and I refused. So for me, the hellfire. It's Shaytan, this hadith. SubhanAllah. So Shaytan said, because you have sent me astray, surely I will sit and wait against them on your straight path. So instead of saying, astaghfirullah, made a mistake, he didn't make tawbah and he's now plotting against us. He's plotting against us. There's a lot to go through, subhanAllah. There's a lot. But it's deep. It's a reflection upon yourself and Shaytan. But don't forget Allah as well. Allah's there, it's number one. Your focal point is Allah, but Shaytan's going to try and steal you away because he wants you to join him. Shaytan sat in wait for the son of Adam on all his paths. He sat in the path of Islam saying, this is in a hadith with Prophet ﷺ, would you embrace Islam and abandon your religion and the religion of your forefathers? So this is for the people that didn't become a Muslim before. Sorry, these are the people that became a Muslim or that wanted to become a Muslim. So Shaytan comes to you, would you abandon your religion? So whoever's a revert here, or someone that came into the deen and their family wasn't in Islam, Shaytan must have came to them at some point. You're going to abandon your religion, Christianity. What's your mom's going to say? However, the son of Adam disobeyed Shaytan and he embraced Islam. Beat you there? So Shaytan sat in the path of hijrah. Obviously in Islam we know that hijrah, which is migration, is a very high reward. Hijrah to a better land, a Muslim land, a land of peace. And Shaytan would say to you, would you migrate and leave your land and sky? You're going to migrate and leave your land and sky. Good old Britain. You're going to leave Britain. Think of all NHS, think of all the things that you've got here. You're going to go to a Muslim country, can't even speak the language. He's going to tempt you away from it because there's a lot of reward. So he disobeyed Shaytan and migrated. So Shaytan sat in the path of jihad against oneself and his wealth, saying, if you fight, you will be killed, and your wife will be married, and your wealth will be divided. Imagine, you're going to go and fight, you're going to die, you've got family, kids, someone's going to marry your wife. So he disobeyed him and performed jihad. Therefore, whoever among them, the children of Adam, does this and dies, he will be promised from Allah that he admits him into paradise. And if he's killed, it will be promised from Allah that he will be admitted to paradise. And if he drowns, it will be a promise from Allah that he will admit him into paradise. And if the animal breaks his neck, the animal that he's riding, it will be a promise from Allah that he admits him into paradise. SubhanAllah. Just the last verse of the Quran, when Allah says, this is Shaytan saying, then I will come to them from before them, from behind them, from the right of them, and from the left of them, and you will not find most of them thankful. You will not find most of them as thankful ones, i.e. they won't be dutiful towards you. Most of them won't be thankful. You think that's right at the moment? Muslims, are Muslims thankful? Not a lot of them. If you look at it, Allahu A'lam. I'm not going to give the tafsir. There's a tafsir here by Ibn Abbas. When Shaytan says, I will come to them from before them, he said it means raising doubts concerning their hereafter. Raising doubts concerning the hereafter. Is there really a hereafter? Are you sure? Maybe there isn't. You never know. And then when he says, and from behind them, means making them more eager for this life. Making them more eager. Work more. You need more. Just a bit more. Keep going. Then just all you do is working. And from the right of them, causing them confusion in the religion. Why do we need to do that? Why does it say in Islam? Why did Allah really reveal that? Is it fard? Is it sunnah? You get these confusing statements that Shaytan can delude you on. And from the left of them, luring them to commit sins. And obviously Shaytan tries to make you commit sins with that thing in the back of them. Allah forgives, in the back of your mind. Just do it, don't worry. This is meant to cover all the paths of good and evil. Shaytan discourages the people from the path of good and lures them into evil. Okay, I'm just going to go through some steps, which is about 8 steps of Shaytan achieving his goal to dragging you into the hellfire with him. Just bear this in mind for the rest of your life. Seriously, I heard this a long time ago and it stuck in my mind. It's very important. Bear this in mind for the rest of your life. Number 1, Shaytan first lures mankind into committing shirk and kufr. Number 1. That's the most important. If he makes you commit shirk and kufr, shirk is associating partners with Allah and kufr is disbelief, then that's it. He doesn't need to do nothing else. If he's done that. So give me an example of shirk and kufr from the audience, inshallah. How would Shaytan make you commit shirk?
Worshipping people.
Worshipping people.
Worship yourself by looking in the mirror to yourself.
Look at it, a bit vanity, yeah? Worshipping your desires, I suppose that would be.
Or your favourite football team.
Or your football team. What the scholars have mentioned here is invoking on the dead, asking from the dead. Magic, kufr, yeah? Obviously worshipping idols, like some religions, they worship idols. Isa alayhi salam, some people worship Isa alayhi salam. It's kufr, shirk. If Shaytan's got you to do that, he just let you carry on. He's quite happy with you. That's the main objective. As Allah says in Surah Hashr, except, check this one out, subhanallah. He wants you to commit shirk and kufr, but he says in the Quran, Shaytan, Like when Shaytan says to man, disbelieve in Allah. But when man disbelieves in Allah, Shaytan says, I am free from you, I fear Allah. I'm free from you. Shaytan believes in Allah, he just disobeyed him. But he wants you to disbelieve in Allah. That's the next level. I am free from you, I fear Allah. This is in the Quran. Number 2, if you can't manage to deceive the people in committing shirk and kufr, the next stage below that is to make you do a bid'ah. The kids are probably thinking, what's bid'ah? It's a new word for me. It's innovation. Something that's new in the religion. The religion, in a packet, Kellogg's cornflakes, it's all there, sealed. You can't put anything more in. Sealed. If you open it up, you're going to take stuff out. You can't put anything into it. Bid'ah is to add things or possibly take things away, but add things into the religion that wasn't there. Any examples of a bid'ah? Mawlid, yeah? Celebrating the birthday of the Prophet ﷺ. Yeah, that's one example. A bid'ah. Celebrating the 15th of Sha'ban. Celebrating all other things. Sufyan al-Thawri said, bid'ah is dearer to Shaytan than a major sin. It doesn't seem like it. Imagine you go to the mosque and everyone's dancing, whatever, with the music in the background. Prophet ﷺ's birthday, candles, cake. Why is it worse than a major sin? Well, Sufyan al-Thawri said, bid'ah is dearer to Shaytan than a sin. One may repent from the sin, but he won't repent from a bid'ah. If you do a major sin, the chances are you might repent, because you know it's a sin. With a bid'ah, you think you're doing a good deed. I'm celebrating the life of Prophet ﷺ. I'm celebrating it. You know, we're having a good time. Should get him reward, really. So you're never going to repent from that. So Shaytan loves that. He's quite happy with that. Number 3. If Shaytan fails to cause the people to do innovation, he will move on to calling them into major sins. Major sins? Anyone? Adultery? Yeah, anything. Anything that's even abandoning the prayers. There's 2 types of major sins that I know of. One of them is to do a sin, killing someone, adultery, stealing, major sin, yeah? But actually not to do as well. Not to pray, it's a major sin. Not to fast, it's a major sin. Not doing nothing wrong, I'm not harming no one. It's a major sin. So bear that in mind. It's not just when people say, I'm not doing nothing wrong, I've got a clean heart obviously, I'm not doing no major sins. We actually are doing a major sin. You're doing a very major sin by not praying. Number 4. If the believer keeps steadfast and Shaytan is not able to discourage him, he will try to persuade him to do minor sins. Don't worry about the major ones, it's too hard. Just do the minor ones. Easy. Yeah? In Tirmidhi, Prophet ﷺ says, Shaytan has despaired of ever being worshipped in this land of yours, but he will be obeyed in matters that you think is insignificant, and he will be content with that. The Shaytan will be content with that because even minor sins can have a devastating effect on one's hereafter. The Prophet ﷺ said, beware of insignificant sins, like a people who stayed in a valley. Then this one brought a stick, then the other one brought a stick, and the others brought a stick, until they cooked the bread, the meal. Verily, the person who commits these minor sins will be seized by these sins and will be destroyed. So little sins add up. A little bit here, a little bit there, they add up. If the believer can stay away from this as well, if he can stay away from the shirk, he can stay away from the bid'ah, stay away from the major sins, stay away from the minor sins, then Shaytan seeks to keep him occupied with permissible matters, like sleeping. Sleep all day, so tired, especially in Ramadan, yeah? Eating, drinking, doing things that occupy your time, there's no benefit in it and there's no harm in it. So Shaytan, keep you occupied with that. Spend most of your day doing that, and you quickly squeeze in a prayer and then carry on doing those permissible things all day long. Number 6, if Shaytan, if you can if the believing slave is still not deceived and manages his time well, Shaytan keeps him busy with less virtuous deeds. He's keeping you busy with good deeds. MashaAllah, you're good. It's very good. You think, well, Shaytan's not good. He'll keep you occupied with small deeds because it keeps you away from the good, the major good deeds, the big good deeds. And the last one, if after employing all of these tactics he still can't manage to get you to do what he wants, he resorts to corrupt your acts of worship and deprive you of the rewards. So you're doing major things, events, going to dawah, you're doing so much good deeds, but then you've got the shirk in there. I'm doing it because, everyone can see me, I'm going to be known as such and such. That brother over there, he's good, And you're like, yeah, I wanted to hear that. MashaAllah, I keep doing that stuff. Pumping my ego back up. SubhanAllah. There's a beautiful hadith in Sahih Bukhari. Prophet ﷺ said, when the call of prayer is pronounced, Shaytan runs away breaking wind. Loudly. So that he will not hear the adhan. Can you imagine that? You run so fast, breaking wind loudly, and so you can't hear the adhan. When the adhan stops, he comes back. But when the iqamah starts, he runs away. And when the prayer begins, he comes back until he whispers into the heart of the person saying, remember such and such, remember such and such. Things that he did not remember before the prayer, until he does not know how many rak'ahs he's prayed. SubhanAllah. That's in the hadith. Imagine you're praying, doing research on this topic, although it was difficult, it makes you realize a lot of things as well. You go into salah, Allahu Akbar, how many seconds pass before you think of something else? I'm not even talking about minutes. Seriously, it can be seconds. Even after the Akbar. Today I was doing such and such. Did I do, you've probably seen an advert, is my car parked on the double yellow line? You think of so many things. You think, okay, ruku. You think, what surah did I read? It's funny, but it's not really when you think about it. It's funny, but it's not. It's not funny. It's very dangerous. It shows the salah, as soon as you go into it, multitasking. Your iPhone's probably got multitasking functions. I can do that and that at the same time. I can drive. The sisters can do better actually. I'm sorry. I can cook, be on the phone and discipline the kids at the same time. Can do all three. Multitask. We would get stressed out. You can't do the kids. You can do the cooking on the phone, but not the kids. Get them out of my face. Just multitasking when you're praying. It happens. Almost every salah. Khushu'. We'll come into that inshallah. I don't know how much time I've got left. Probably not long at all. No. So if the person still remains undefeated by Shaytan, the next step is to harm the person. He'll harm that person. He'll maybe make people talk bad about him, say wrong things about him, put him into prison, give him hardship, try and make him, push him away from the deen. He will just try every single thing that he possibly can to keep you away from the straight path. If the sisters can pass the sheets or whatever they've written, pass it to the front, I'll try and run through them. It's almost like a Q&A, but I can speak about a few things that Shaytan tries to influence you. No, if the sisters can pass it, I'm going to carry on. Alright. So just pass it to the back on the right hand side. Just want to mention a few things, because if I talk about salah all day long, as I said, maybe everyone's praying here, there's no point talking about it. I want to speak to your heart and say, bruv, this is an issue that you've got, and this is how Shaytan's whispering to you, just from my understanding. Obviously Allah knows best. If you can pass it to the right hand side, I'll pick it up and go through it quickly. Brothers,
Can you repeat the 4 things, please?
the 4 things I said, not 4, it's just 2. Basically, the battle that you've got with Shaytan, that was the question.
You said 4 stages.
There's 4 stages, but I'll ask for 1 or 2, which is, 2 or 3.
What was the first stage?
The first stage is you're not at that stage yet and you've got no intention.
Losing.
You're losing completely. Number 2, You're not at that stage yet, but you're trying. So I want one of those ones. I'm not at that stage yet, but I'm trying. So any brothers have got a suggestion that you're having a problem with, but you're trying, or you're at the stage, but you're struggling. I'm not at that stage, but I'm trying, or I'm at the stage, but I'm struggling. Yeah? If your brothers have got a suggestion, pass it over. I've got my own list, but that's my list. If your brothers just want to mention, while I'm reading the sisters one quickly. This is a question. I'm not going to do that just yet. Brothers, are you doing alright? Yeah? No problems at all. You whisper to me through the salah all day. You've got nothing from me now. Got nothing from the brothers. That's a question as well.
Starting an Arabic course.
Okay. Starting an Arabic course. Okay. Anything else? From the prayers, night prayers. Come on, man. The sisters are beating you guys. Quran memorization, speaking unnecessarily, memorizing Quran. Some people didn't understand what I meant stage 1 and stage 2. You understand it now. I'm not at the stage yet, but I want to be. Memorizing Quran, I'm not at the stage of memorizing. Fasting on Mondays and Thursdays, praying all my sunnah prayers, reading tafsir of Quran, making adhkar in the morning and the night. I am at the stage, but I'm struggling. Praying the night prayer, tahajjud, waking up for fajr. Yeah? Can people, the brothers relate to that? Well, the brothers are fine, mashallah. We've got sahabas here, mashallah. Praying all the sunnah prayers, not praying qiyam. Yeah, refraining from backbiting. Reading Quran. Very similar. Positive thinking, tahajjud, tawakkul, shur.
Just to emphasize on one thing, how we get waswasa from Shaytan, yeah, and also from man, because Shaytan runs through our veins, right? So how do you know if your people around you, or your friends, or your brothers, or your circle is not actually Shaytan, and when you're with them, you become in a circle of Shaytan, and not even realizing because of the social gatherings that you might have. You actually don't realize that, okay, you mentioned deen, blah blah blah, but it has more harm to you than benefit, because actually when you move away or something happens, you realize that this certain person I was with was actually from Shaytan. Was it because he doesn't realize that Shaytan might be with him? Or do you understand what I'm saying?
I do, bro.
Because in man and jinn.
Yeah.
So how do you...
Thanks, bro. That's a question.
How do you understand who those people are?
Yeah, jazakallah khair. Bismillah. That was the question, bro. I'll answer it, inshallah. I'll try and relate it to this stage thing. By realizing, I mean, maybe some people will have it here, or they didn't mention it, you've got bad company. Yeah, bad company, or someone that's doing bad to you, or saying wrong things about you, and they don't realize it, for example, or you're in their company, and are they shaitan themselves? Allahu a'lam, but Allah says, min al-jinnati wan-nas. Yeah? Min al-jinnati wan-nas, from the jinn and from mankind. So, yeah, human beings can be from shayateen. If they're encouraging you to disobey the commands of Allah, or they're encouraging you, or they're doing wrong things, they're doing or encouraging wrong actions, or wrong, even your action could be you're speaking, isn't it? They're talking about you, or they're saying bad things about such and such. I think most of the time people don't recognize it. This is the whole point of the talk today. They don't recognize that Shaytan is influencing them to say these things. They don't recognize it. That's so important. It just can't be overemphasized. Recognition that Shaytan is making you say, subhanAllah, my brother probably knows more about this because we do a lot of work together. One brother said, this brother, yeah, I've got to tell you something about him. What, brother? Is it backbiting? No, it's not. It is, but it's not. Yeah? Brother, has it got anything to do with the meeting? No. If the brother was to hear it, would he be happy about it? Brother, it's really important. Brother, it's a backbite. Just leave it. To be honest, just leave it, brother. You sure? Yeah, leave it, brother. Leave it. Yeah? This waswasa. He wants to backbite. He's burning. He really wants... Do you know what? When you talk about someone, you think, yes, I got it off my chest. I feel really... I spoke about that person. Yeah, I'm right. I'm always perfect. I don't do nothing wrong. that person, man, they're always doing it. I have to tell someone. Then you tell someone and they tell you, no, before you say it, stop. What? Yeah, they don't realise that Shaytan's telling them within their thoughts, speak about such and such. If you're giving away your good deeds or you're taking their bad deeds, they're quite happy with that. As the stages here, mashallah, the fact that you've written it is very good. The fact that you've written it, mashallah, the sisters, they're always beating the brothers, I'm sorry. Brothers was poor, they didn't give no suggestions apart from doing the Arabic course, mashallah. If you can, with regards to the Arabic course or reading Quran or doing tahajjud, yeah, we should be trying to do it as well, including myself. Fajr on time is fard, full stop, really. Why can't you pray Fajr on time? What's the reason? I can get up to work at 6 o'clock in the morning because I haven't got a choice. When it comes to Fajr, people are so hard. The bed is so warm and heavy. You know you can do press-ups, but when it's coming out of bed, it becomes so difficult. You could do 50 press-ups, no problem. Sisters can do cooking and cleaning all day and night, but Fajr, so hard. Really difficult. It's Shaytan's waswasa. You're tired, you had a long day yesterday. You had a long day today, just forget it. Don't worry about sunnah. You've prayed your fard. Alhamdulillah. Some people are not even praying. This little waswasas. You prayed your fard, don't worry about sunnah. The sunnah mu'akkada is the Prophet ﷺ done it all the time. And who are we trying to be like? Prophet ﷺ. Like the brother mentioned, trying to be like the Sahabas. They didn't just pray sunnah mu'akkada, they done tahajjud, they done everything. We're happy to do the minimal. We're not happy, like the brother said, Allah doesn't deserve less. He doesn't. He doesn't deserve less, so why are you content with less? The reason why you're content with less is because Shaytan wants you to be content with less. That's including me. He wants you to be content with less. Don't pray in the masjid, pray at home. Fajr, it's cold. It's cold outside. MashaAllah, the sisters don't have to do it. Don't have to go to the masjid. But for them, tahajjud, do tahajjud as well. Tahajjud, the easy one for tahajjud for the brothers and sisters, and one brother suggested it to me recently. When it's Ramadan, you wake up for suhoor, isn't it? Because you have to eat, because I get hungry during the day. When it comes to your stomach, you get up that half an hour before, because I want to have toast, eggs, whatever else you want to add on top of it. Some people have curry and rice, mate. The whole shebang. What? That for suhoor? Yeah, keeps you going the whole. You're never hungry the whole day. Once you've had that full meal, you're not hungry for the whole day. So if you can do that for Ramadan, why can't you just wake up half an hour before Fajr? If you wake up half an hour before Fajr, you wake up, do your wudu, do what you have to do. You can pray two rak'ah, finished. And then Fajr kicks in, pray sunnah. And for the brothers, including myself, go to the masjid and pray Fajr. You're working in the morning. You can't pray Fajr in the mosque. Just pray at home, go to sleep, wake up quickly. Shaytan's waswasa once again. Same as I said, going back to the memorization of the Quran, the suggestions the sister was given. Just put a portion of your time aside. You can be on the phone for hours because this sister's got a problem and I'm so stressed out. But those hours that the sister didn't call you the day before, or the hours that she's not going to call you the day after, you'll occupy yourself by doing permissible things that's not going to get any reward. Think about it. Seriously. How many times have we done it? You finish your salah, go to the phone. I just needed to check something. Oh, that sister texts me. So funny. Yeah. I'm going to forward this to everyone. At 11 o'clock at night, when everyone's sleeping. You get that? You get a text message forwarded from somebody at 11 o'clock at night. You're thinking, what's that? I'm trying to get a good... Are you getting a good deed by disturbing everyone? You've disturbed 200 people. Because you've just thought, yeah, I'm just going to forward that hadith to everyone right now at 12. I think I had a text message at 1 o'clock in the morning. I forwarded hadith. What? Don't respond at all. In the morning, brother, could you please text me during daylight hours? Yeah? One brother, mashallah, may Allah reward him, he used to text me at night all the time, 12 o'clock, almost clockwork. 11:59, 12 o'clock, text message comes down. Subhanallah. I said, brother, very nice text messages, by the way. And this is advice to everyone, whoever does it. Don't do it, inshallah, because you're disturbing everyone. I said, brother, please, wouldn't it be better if you do it during the day when people are going to be more aware of it and they can benefit from the text message that you're sending? The hadith is beautiful, mashallah. Astaghfirullah, brother. I'm trying to give, good deeds. I'm trying to advise, and you're, subhanallah. Bro, that's a complete contrast to the text messages that you were sending me. Beautiful. And now I've said something, it's like, not interested. I said, brother, subhanallah. I love you for the sake of Allah. And then the brother said, subhanallah. He realized. Because what have you done? You've exposed something which is a mistake, and it's difficult for people to accept it. Even if you say it in the nicest possible way. There's one sister as well. No names mentioned, I don't even know her name. Same thing again, text messages, 5, 10 a day. A day. This phone can take untold, but some old phones, you put 10, 20 in there, it smacks your memory's full. Say to the sister, please don't text me, blah, blah, blah. Okay, same thing again, please don't text me. I'm very busy, just your normal texts would be fine. Personal text messages not forwarded. Because after a little while, what happens is that you switch off. Whenever you see that face, or the name, sorry, you just switch off. And the person thinks they're doing a good deed. I know we're slightly sidestepping from the topic, but it's Shaytan again. Shaytan wants you to do things that maybe not even good. Maybe it's not even good. The fact that you're disturbing 200 people at 12 o'clock at night to send them a hadith might not be a good deed. It might not be. Allahu A'lam. You've disturbed 200 people. I said to the brother, and just to give you a practical example, I said, if you was back in the day, no phones, would you come to my house and deliver me a letter through my letterbox and say, praying Fajr is fard? Just thought I'd let you know. At 12 o'clock at night. You wouldn't do that. Why are you sending me hadith at 12 o'clock at night? Anyway, I'm sorry I couldn't cover most of the stuff here from the sisters. I've got 10 minutes left, so I just wanted to cover, and I've got copies of protection, from Shaytan. There's no point talking about him and making you realise it if you haven't got the tools to protect yourself. First and foremost, the first and foremost and the most important thing, without a shadow of a doubt, is recognition. Recognizing yourself. Recognizing yourself on a day-to-day basis. I'm not talking about at lunchtime. Oh, let me start thinking about my relationship with Allah and if Shaytan's influencing me. No, it's from Fajr. From when you wake up in the morning, which should be Fajr. Because if you don't wake up for Fajr, guess what? You've lost the first battle of the day. First battle, you've lost it. There's hadiths upon that. How Shaytan's got 3 knots, hide behind your back, you're at the back of your head. That he's urinating in your ear. It's not nice. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. It's hadith. So Fajr, if you don't pray Fajr on time, praying in the mosque for the men obviously is better. If you don't pray Fajr on time, you've lost the first battle of the day. You've lost it. So how's the rest of your day going to be like? Terrible. Absolutely terrible. For whoever's missed Fajr, I've missed it before. Try not to make it a habit. But your day's terrible. Every time I pray, I think, I've missed Fajr. Pray Dhuhr, I've missed Fajr. Pray Asr, I've missed Fajr. Maghrib, Fajr. Isha, Fajr. All I can think about is the next Fajr. I can't have a good day. Even if my day went fantastically smooth. Miss Fajr. In the back of my mind. Just so you know, you miss Fajr, by the way. Very important. Anyway, so recognition is the most important thing in your intentions and your actions. From the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep, and he doesn't even leave you when you're sleeping. He's in your dreams sometimes. That's where you get the nightmares from. That's why before you sleep, you've got to try to do all the dua that you know of protection. So just a few steps, and I've got the sheets here because I haven't got the time to go through it. The ways of protection, the first and foremost is adhering to the straight path. Adhere to the straight path. as the Prophet ﷺ said, the Messenger of Allah drew a line in the sand and said, this is Allah's path leading straight. Then he drew lines on the sides, left and the right, and said, these are the other paths. On each path there is a shaitan who calls to it. He then recited, and verily this is my straight path, so follow it, and follow not the other paths, for they will separate you away from this path, from his path. So Allah also says, obviously in the Quran, to seek refuge with Allah from shaitan. And Allah says in the Quran, if an evil whisper comes to you from shaitan, then seek refuge with Allah and say, my Lord, I seek refuge with you from the whisperings of shaitan, and I seek refuge with you, my Lord, lest they may attend or come near me. That's Surah Mu'minun. So seek refuge with Allah. If you get bad thought, you're going to get it. Guaranteed. A'udhu billahi minash shaitan rajim. Or you hear your wife say something, A'udhu billahi minash shaitan rajim. Or your husband says it, A'udhu billahi minash shaitan rajim. You can't say that about that brother. You can't say that about that sister. Say A'udhu billah. And you think, oh, A'udhu billah, it's true, you're right. Reflect. It's reflecting. Number 2, seeking refuge of Allah, as I said. The Messenger of Allah ﷺ said, whoever says in the morning, La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, lahul mulku wa lahul hamdu wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. None has the right to be worshipped except to Allah alone. He has no partners. To him belongs the dominion. To him belongs all praise, and he is over all things. Has indeed gained the reward of freeing 10 slaves from the children of Ismail, and 10 of his sins are wiped away, and he is raised 10 degrees, and he has found a safe retreat from the shaitan until evening. Similarly, if he says this in the evening, he will be protected in the morning. Number 3, dispelling shaitan from your house. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu said, do not turn your houses into graves. Indeed, shaitan flees from the house in which Surah Baqarah is recited. And some scholars say you have to recite it, by the way, not just play it in the background while you're doing whatever. But if you're playing it, at least it's better than not playing it. But some people do say you have to actually recite it. Dispelling shaitan at the time of anger. Now this is the hard one. When you're angry. The Prophet ﷺ said, I was sitting with the Messenger of Allah, and 2 men were abusing each other. The face of one of them became very red with anger, and then his veins become inflated. Allah's Messenger ﷺ, he said, I know a word in which if he was to say this, the anger would leave him. And he said, A'udhu billahi minash shaitan rajim. Try that. Seriously, it's very hard. If you get to a point of anger, may Allah save us from it, but it's going to happen in your life. Try to say A'udhu billahi minash shaitan rajim. It's hard. It takes a strong person to say that. Even if you was to remind your wife she got angry, say A'udhu billahi minash shaitan rajim. She's like, oh, I don't want to say that. Just say A'udhu billahi minash shaitan rajim. A'udhu billahi minash shaitan rajim. And you think, okay, I know this is from shaitan. Another thing, make wudu. Make wudu. Because anger, and obviously shaitan's from fire. And the hadith states, and obviously wudu is using water to cool it down. And if you're standing, sit down. If you're sitting, lie down. Hadith of Prophet ﷺ. Dispelling shaitan at the time of eating and drinking. Eating, drinking and entering your house. We do it every day. Every single day. So it's very important to do these things. I heard the Prophet ﷺ say, according to Jabir, when a man enters his house and remembers Allah, upon entering and before eating, shaitan says, there is no place for you to spend the night and there is no supper for you. When he enters his house and does not remember Allah, shaitan says, you found a place to spend tonight. And when he does not remember Allah upon eating his food, shaitan says, you have found a place to stay and some supper. SubhanAllah. So, who knows the dua for entering into the house? Raise hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got work to do. 6. Little kid in the background jumping. We've got work to do. Dua for entering into the house. If you don't know the dua, just say Bismillah for now, at least. Say Bismillah. There's nothing to be ashamed about. Just know that you've got to do these things. Every step and action. That's one thing that's unique about Islam. That everything that you do, there's a dua for it to remember Allah and protect you. Entering in the house, there's a dua. Coming out of your house, there's a dua. Eating your food, there's a dua. Drinking a drink, Bismillah. It's not big duas, you don't have to be a sheikh. Don't have to be. Just remember Allah, because Shaytan gets involved in your food and drink and coming into your house. Obviously, this who knows Ayatul Kursi? 1, 2, 3, 4 more people, mashallah. If you say it before you sleep, according to Prophet ﷺ, he said, when you're about to sleep, recite Ayatul Kursi till the end of the verse, for there will remain over you a protection from Allah, and no Shaytan will draw near you until the morning. Okay, there's a lot of protections. Obviously, read through it, inshallah. If I haven't got enough copies, I'll copy, do some more printouts, inshallah. Obviously, going into the toilet, coming out, there's dua for that. Going into the mosque, during the salah. SubhanAllah. Straightening your rows, leaving the house. When calamity befalls you, that's a big one. Something goes wrong. Oh, damn. Yeah, you dropped your phone in water. Brand new phone. Damn. Qadrullahi ma sha'a fa'ala. Qadrullahi ma sha'a fa'ala. And it actually makes you think, even if you don't understand Arabic that well, know that it's the qadr of Allah. Allah, He writ it before He was even born, that was going to drop in the water. He already writ it that it was going to drop in there. So when you had the car accident, you smashed up your car, or your phone's dropped or it's broken, or something's happened, something even serious, you say qadrullahi ma sha'a fa'ala, you have submitted your anger or frustration to Allah because you are content with Allah's destiny. You're content with it. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with Allah's destiny. Qadrullahi ma sha'a fa'ala. I know I've got 2 minutes, I'm just going to conclude. There's too much to list, so this is a very big topic. So just to conclude, inshallah, we seek the forgiveness of Allah, as we're all going to slip. We're all going to slip and make mistakes, knowingly or unknowingly. You're going to make mistakes, knowingly or unknowingly, as Adam alayhi salam did. But the cure for that is to ask for Allah's forgiveness. Ask Allah's forgiveness. There's a hadith to finish on. Shaytan said to the Lord of Glory, by your glory, O Lord, I will keep trying to misguide your slaves so long as their souls are in their bodies. And the Lord says, by my glory and majesty, I will continue to forgive them. So long as they ask for my forgiveness, I will continue to forgive them. As long as you ask for my forgiveness. So Shaytan's going to keep, or try to make you do the sins, because it's not him that makes you do the sin, it's you. It's not him. I'm free from you. He said it. I'm free. I only just said it. I give you inspiration. But you did it. It was you that done it. We can be stubborn on most things, but we're not stubborn against the enemy, who's Shaytan. So is Shaytan your friend or is your enemy, your open enemy? Is he your friend or is your open enemy? Let us make him our open enemy, inshallah. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين. Go for it.
I just wanted to add a little something in regards to what the brother was saying about arrogance. And it was a story, if I'm not mistaken, of Ali ibn Abu Talib, may Allah be pleased with him, where he came across this man who would slander Islam, slander the Prophet, and Ali withdrew his sword. He was going to cut him, kill him. And before he did so, this man spat in his face. And what did he do? Took his sword and he sheathed it, put it away. Why? He did so because before he was doing something for Allah, but now because he spat in his face, he was going to kill him for his own sake, his own honor. This is the person who has his arrogance under control, his ego under control. I thought just add that. You made me think of that. So I have some questions here. You want to cover these? Is that okay?
I can't answer, I'd say. There's another narration regarding that. If anyone hasn't heard, he renewed his intention, then he killed the guy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. No one, I heard it once, thinking no one tells you that bit. Just walks away, mashallah. No, he's walked away, then he renewed his intention, and then he killed him. For the sake of Allah. Okay, inshallah. So if Shaytan does not have a heart, then what does he have instead of a heart? I didn't say Shaytan doesn't have a heart. He's a jinn. And I don't know if they have hearts or not. They're obviously alive. So, I'm not sure about that one. Can a woman do jihad? Allahu alam. Obviously in this day and age, I wouldn't be able to answer that question, to be honest with you. It's not related to the topic. The topic is Shaytan.
Is that, I think it was even a verse or one of the scholars said that if you can't wake up for it, then look at what you've done during the day. That's prevented you.
SubhanAllah.
Even some minor things you may overlook.
Yeah.
Watching comedy that's got nothing to do with Islam, or any kind of comedy that's making you laugh.
If you can't do tahajjud, then look at what you've done during the day. Obviously there's tips. Go to sleep a little bit earlier. Yeah, not at the crack of dawn and then expect to wake up after 2 hours. It's hard. Give yourself easy targets. Seriously, give yourself easy targets. Don't make a mountain out of Islam. It wasn't revealed in one night. The Quran was revealed in 23 years. But I'm not telling you to take 23 years to grow your beard, brothers. Yeah? 23 years to grow your beard. Or sisters, 23 years, put your hijab on. MashaAllah, the sisters, they're pretty good with the hijab, mashallah. They got issues with plucking the eyebrows. That's a hard one. Bruv, don't say plucking the eyebrows. And don't tell me about perfume as well. Perfume and plucking the eyebrows. Makeup, yeah. Obviously, to an extent, there's makeup as well. You know, perfume, obviously, recently, maybe a couple of years ago, it actually breaks your ghusl. Not your wudu. Your ghusl, if you've got perfume on. Breaks your ghusl. Your major impurity. If a woman's got a perfume on outside and the men can smell it, it breaks your ghusl, which means your salah is not valid. And Allah knows best. And brothers as well, one brother said regarding her beard, I know it's something not major, but it is as well. Said to the Sheikh, make dua for me that I'll grow my beard. Classic one. Said, I can't do that. I can't make dua for Allah to grow your beard. It's Allah that grows your beard. I'll make dua that you stop shaving. Simple, isn't it? It's you that's doing it. You're shaving every day. There's no point in growing your beard if you don't pray 5 times a day. That's why I wanted the list. I'm not going to talk about the beard if the brothers are not praying. If you're praying 5 times a day, then you should grow your beard. It's a part of the sunnah. And Allah knows best. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك واشهد ان لا اله الا انت استغفرك واتوب اليك.
فسوقا أصبح الوجدان قفرا ظامئ الأرض سحيقا والجماهير أصمتني صفيرا ونعيما.